So before we start this video, I just want to address the untimely death of one Kobe Bryant. First of all, rest in peace to Gianna and everyone involved in the helicopter accident that took place on January 26, 2020. I just want to take a minute or so just to talk about exactly what Kobe meant to my life. Kobe was the reason why I fell in love with basketball. Period, point blank. He taught me what true passion is. He taught me what true hard work is. He taught me what work ethic really means. He taught me that I can really do anything as long as I put my best foot forward. And this channel has been the embodiment of that alone. But these are words that I live by on every single day. Every single day. Whether it be if I'm just doing homework, or whether I'm working on videos, or when my parents had to move from Massachusetts to North Carolina, and how that whole moving process took a toll on me, and how I just had to make everything work. I just thought every single day, what would Kobe do? And yeah, he's gotten me through a lot. He's gotten me through a lot. So I just want to say thank you to Kobe for everything, not just for me, but what you mean to millions and millions of people across the world. I want to say on behalf of them and everyone else, thank you. But back to the video. So last video we talked about exactly where the game of basketball is going and what the game will look like in the future. If you guys haven't watched that video, go ahead and check it out. Links will be in the description or somewhere on the screen. But it also actually got me thinking about the past, specifically players of the past, players that may have simply played in the wrong era. While they may have been instrumental into leading what the game is right now, I did start to wonder exactly which players of the past would be better today than how good they were during their time. Now, just to make this video interesting, I don't want to talk about all-time greats that in many people's eyes can translate and be dominant in any era, a la, let's say, Larry Bird or Magic Johnson. Obviously those players would still dominate the game of basketball today, but I want to talk about players that weren't necessarily viewed that way. At least not everyone viewed them that way. So let's just go ahead and get straight to it. The first player I want to talk about is Lamar Odom. Lamar Odom was a 6'10" power forward / small forward who primarily played in the 2000s, mostly known for his time with the Los Angeles Lakers, but he also played with the Clippers and the Miami Heat, and also a little short stint with the Dallas Mavericks. But like I said, mostly known for being a Los Angeles Laker. In his time, Lamar Odom was one of the few 6'10" forwards that can legitimately handle the ball like a point guard. This was a guy who at the time was capable of averaging 15 to 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 to 5 assists per game, and I believe his game would translate perfectly into today's NBA. Combine his size with his ball handling ability, he could be one of the many modern point forwards we see in the league today. Like I said in my previous video, the game is heading in the direction that prefers taller and bigger players with guard-like skill sets, and Lamar Odom perfectly fits that build. Think of, let's say, Ben Simmons with a better mid-range J. That's who I think Lamar Odom would be in today's NBA. Not as good as a passer as Ben Simmons, but you get my drift. He would be in that sort of lane. Lamar Odom still had a successful career, 2-time NBA champion, 2011 Sixth Man of the Year, but if Lamar Odom played in today's NBA, he would have at least made one All-Star team in his career, and in my opinion would have been more successful. Next up, SHAWN. Now, SHAWN was a 6'7" power forward / small forward that also played in the 2000s with Lamar Odom for the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks. Not on the same team, but in the same era. And while I'm not saying that SHAWN wasn't good at the time, I believe he is again one of those players that would be even better in today's NBA. SHAWN was a terrific defender for his time, was a very versatile defender, quick on his feet, but strong enough to guard bigger players, but also on the offensive end, he was able to be a 19 to 20 point per game scorer consistently for a big part of his career. If SHAWN Marion in 2006 can average 22 points and 12 rebounds on 53, 33, 81 splits on 4 3-point attempts per game, I mean, just imagine what he could do in today's NBA. In my opinion, if he played in today's NBA, he obviously would have worked on his 3-point shot even more, thus becoming a better 3-point shooter, even though he was already a decent 3-point shooter back then. And I believe he would gain much more recognition if he played in today's NBA, as his versatility and quickness and offensive skill set would be perfect for today's NBA. The next player I want to look at is Penny Hardaway. Now, Penny Hardaway was a player that was already in the trajectory of being an NBA superstar before injuries ruined and sidelined his career. Penny Hardaway was a 6'7" point guard slash shooting guard of the 90s, primarily known for his time with the Orlando Magic and Shaquille O'Neal, as they led the Orlando Magic to their first NBA Finals appearance in franchise history. In his time, Penny Hardaway was already capable of averaging 20 to 22 points, 6 to 7 assists, and 4 to 5 rebounds on pretty good efficiency. And while I believe Penny Hardaway is one of those players that can really play in any era, I specifically think that his skill set would be much more emphasized in today's NBA more than in any era. In my opinion, I think Penny Hardaway, if he played in today's era, again like many other players, would improve on his 3-point shooting even more because of the emphasis on 3-point shooting. And honestly, I would not be surprised if he produced levels of production similar to what we see from a Luka Doncic or James Harden in today's NBA. I believe if Penny Hardaway played in today's NBA, he really would be capable of averaging 25 to 27 points, 7 to 8 assists, and 5 to 6 rebounds, which are numbers that we regularly see from greats like Luka Doncic and James Harden. Combine that with his superior athleticism, and also with the advancements in medicine in the modern NBA, who knows, maybe even health-wise, Penny Hardaway would be better in today's NBA. Penny Hardaway was really a player ahead of his time, and while he was one of those players that was instrumental in evolving the NBA and somewhat reinventing the point guard position, I do believe he is one of those players that would have heavily benefited from the modern NBA and everything that comes with that. The next player I want to look at is Tony Kukoc. Tony Kukoc was a 6'10" power forward slash small forward, primarily known for his time with the Chicago Bulls, as he won a championship with them in 1996, 1997, and 1998. Tony Kukoc already in the 90s was one of the best bench players in the league, capable of giving you 13 to 14 points a night on really good efficiency, along with 4 to 5 assists and rebounds a game. I mean, coming from a bench player, that is excellent. And while I do believe Tony Kukoc was already hindered simply because of playing on the Bulls with that star-loaded roster, and I do believe that if he played for another team that he would have put up better numbers, ultimately I do believe that Tony Kukoc is again one of those players that simply just played in the wrong era. Tony Kukoc in the 90s, when 3-point shooting wasn't emphasized, was already a pretty decent 3-point shooter. However, in today's NBA, again with 3-point shooting emphasized, I think his skill set would be so much better utilized. I mean, think of Joe Ingles for the Utah Jazz, except Tony Kukoc is a better shot creator than Joe Ingles, but can do everything else that Joe Ingles can do. In today's NBA, I think Tony Kukoc would be recognized more than a 6-man on a championship level team. I really do think that if Tony Kukoc played in today's NBA, that he could be part of a playoff team's core 2-3 players. The next player I want to look at is Chris Webber. Now, Chris Webber in general is already one of the most underrated players in NBA history. I mean, in his prime, this was a guy putting up 25, 27 points a game, 10 to 11 rebounds, 4 to 5 assists, leading his team to the Western Conference Finals on really good efficiency. I mean, Chris Webber was already a dominant player, but C-Web was a 6'9", 6'10" big man with great ball handling skills, can stretch the floor, can play make. I think if Chris Webber played in today's NBA, he would be considered a superstar. I think Chris Webber in today's NBA would be a top 10 player in the league. However, because he played in the early 2000s where the best power forwards of all time played and were at the peak of their powers, looking at Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan, and even big men like Shaquille O'Neal, Karl Malone, Chris Webber was definitely one of those players that were overshadowed. However, I believe in today's NBA, like I said, with his skill set being in high demand, Chris Webber would be perfect for today's NBA. And the last player I want to look at for today's video is Tayshaun Prince. I know you guys remember Tayshaun Prince, that long, lanky guy from the Detroit Pistons. Many of my young viewers might just know him as some regular role player, but Tayshaun Prince was more than that. Tayshaun Prince was one of the best perimeter defenders in the mid-2000s. Being a 6'9" small forward / power forward, Tayshaun Prince was extremely versatile. Imagine that being in today's NBA, where most teams build around wings and power forwards that are around Tayshaun Prince size. Tayshaun Prince would be perfect for today's NBA. And even on the offensive end, I believe Tayshaun is pretty underrated. I'm not saying he's like an elite scorer by any chance, but for a stretch, Tayshaun Prince was putting up 13 of 14. Even one year he put up nearly 15 points a game on really good efficiency. We're talking 47+% from the field and 35% from 3. Now obviously playing in the 2000s primarily for his career, Tayshaun only attempted 1 or 2 threes a game, but I believe that is one aspect of his game that could be highly improved if he played in today's NBA. Tayshaun Prince was already a 4-time all-defensive player. I believe in today's NBA he might not have that many all-defensive selections because of the amount of great defensive wings, but I do believe if he did play in today's NBA that he would get much more recognition, and people would really know exactly how valuable a player like Tayshaun Prince is. But with that being said, these are the 6 players that I believe simply played in the wrong era. Players that I believe would gain much more recognition and would be more known. Let me know in the comment section if I missed anyone in NBA history, or if you guys have a player in your mind that you believe would do great in the modern NBA. I'm sure I missed a couple. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.